Tony, South Carolina's shooting percentage and then your team's turnovers really jump off the box score. What are your thoughts on those two phases of the game?
Well, first, credit to South Carolina. They played very hard. They pressured us into some turnovers, and and they shot the ball well. I thought early we weren't contesting their shots at the level that we needed to. I can always live with tough shots that are made if you're bothering the shot, but it was almost like it surprised us, and then I thought there were stretches where we battled and fought and made it more difficult to get for them to score, but that's when a careless turnover happened, or we gave up a transition bucket or an offensive rebound, and that was just too much. And I think at times we beat ourselves, and again, they played well, and we had stretches of solid basketball, but not enough. And, when you look at the stat sheet, a lot of it, I don't know what fast break points. Yeah, there it is, 16 fast break points, 19 turnovers. You're not going to win against a quality opponent doing that. And our assist-to-turnover ratio has been, very poor this year. Some of that's poor shooting, but some of that's costly turnovers.
Maybe a small storyline, but Braxton looked much more comfortable, much more fluid.
Yep.
Gave you a big lift during the comeback. How much more did you see from him, and how good do you feel about where he's getting to?
Yeah, I think, with that, there's at times you can see he's still a little unsure with it, but much better than last game with his comfort level and playing with it. And sometimes you just got to go there. But, he did some good things, and my hope is that as he continues, as the time goes by, they lighten the cast, make it smaller. There's sort of a progression that Kihei went through. Then you go into a splint and all that. But good that his hand held up. It looked like it did. I saw him hold it once, but I think it was okay. But he gave us certainly a lift, and, we need it all. I told the guys who either didn't play or didn't play as much, you have to stay ready because you just don't know. But, yep, that was a positive for sure.
Coach, you talked a little bit about the turnovers. Kihei has 14 in the last two games. Are you seeing anything specific that's leading to those, or is he just struggling a little bit?
Well, we're asking a lot of him, and he's using his quickness at times. I think Kihei's an excellent penetrator. He gets in there, but sometimes when he gets in traffic, because he's not the biggest, he's got to probably give it up a little sooner at times. He's a warrior. He's done so much for us. But I did challenge him in the locker room after. You do have to, certain turnovers happen, especially against that kind of ball pressure and overplay, but some have to be eliminated. And in close games or games like this, you can't afford. I think we either went up one or tied it. He made a heck of a drive and a pass, and then the next play, it was too much. And I guess that sometimes I forget he's in a brand new role for him, and he still is in his second year, but I think he needs to clean those up for us to be as good as we can. And I'm asking an awfully lot of him because he has to do a lot defensively and offensively, but I'm going to hold him into high account. I hold all my point guards into that. So sometimes over-penetrating, getting in traffic, trying to do a little too much. That happens with Malmedy at times. But there's also that feeling of, I got to get something. We got to get a bucket or make something happen, that you sort of walk that fine line, and it can cost you against these teams.
Tony, as a guy who played that position, you kind of touched on it a little bit. Is it easier to dissect what he's doing wrong when he does it? And also, is there any link to your offensive struggles as a team to maybe the turnovers going up?
Well, certainly there are some. As I said, there's the unforced errors, but you don't get a shot on the rim no matter what your percentage is. That's an empty possession. And even if you're shooting a poor percent, turn it over less, get a few more shots up, you're going to maybe make 30% of those, or 43% of those today. So absolutely, turnovers are really costing us, and that's been one of the things. In the past we've been so good, and we know our margin for error this year is smaller than most years, and we know the things that we talk about before we can be successful. We got to be so good in eliminating those areas that are going to get us beat or make us lose, and that is taking care of the ball and transition defense and second shots. If you don't do those at a high level, it's very difficult to win. So that's part of it, the turnovers. And then you said, as someone in my spot, is it easy to see some of the mistakes? You can see when guys are open, but that's easy to do. I think there's a little bit of we need a little more poise in those spots, and he'll get better at it, I hope. And again, a lot of people are converging on him, but it's not just him. There's, I look at that, and he has the ball in his hand so much. We need to clean a few of those up. Some are a little bit mind-boggling right now, but that's part of growing.
Tony, you mentioned little things, and you also mentioned offensive rebounds. After you did tie it at 45, South Carolina got an offensive rebound off a missed three,
Yep.
then made the three, and then had the offensive rebound off the air ball where the guy
Yep.
comes unblocked.
Yep.
Off. How big was
Huge.
that sequence?
Yeah, we had to fight to get back into it, but you can't. Air balls sometimes are hard to get off a rebound, but you still have to make the effort. And I thought he went in unchecked. It looked like Thomas, and we work on that stuff an awful lot because we know those things are going to be crucial when you get in games to not allow the second chance points. There was turnovers, there was fast break points, and rebounds in that stretch that were just too much, and some unnecessary fouls that put them at the line. So, again, that's part of us trying to be in that spot again and be a little tighter, a little surer, and a little sounder in all those areas. But those were very costly, and that was frustrating because that's, for the most part, in our control, and that's the hard stuff. But that is what it is, as they say.
Tony, 59 points, I think the most in 7 games. Is that a sign at all that this offense is starting to maybe come out of it a little bit, or where would you where would you assess that right now?
No, I mean there were stretches of good basketball and quality shots, and they're hard to score against. They're a very good defensive team with the pressure they put on you. So yeah, there was, like I said, next pass, open shots. So of course I'll watch the film and always try. You have to, at this stage, you say, well, all right, what are we doing well? Find the positives, build on those, and take a look at the areas that we got to clean up. There's always both in games like this. The film, as they say, doesn't lie, and sometimes it's never as bad as it looks, and it's never as good as it looks. And, hopefully that's the case in some of those areas. But I feel like they're a hard team to play against with their pressure, and they got confidence the way they scored. And then they were really, I think they sensed our perimeter players weren't used to, with the exception of Kie, going against guys in their shirts, kind of, so to speak. So the ability to go somewhere with a dribble, you need to do against pressure, and we tried. And, Momedy did some good things, too, of course, that we tried to touch the post inside.
Jair Bolden's aggressiveness kind of came on a little bit in the second half against Clemson in their last game, and then he really turned it on today. Were you expecting that aggressiveness from him?
Well, I tell you, he kind of shot right over Kihei. And he was so good, 15 in the first half. He's a good player. And I thought we, tightened up a little bit. And it was like, okay, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Like, you got to tighten up your defense and at least close down. And I thought he had too many uncontested or open window shots. And I thought we made it hard, but he played great. And, again, they got key threes at the right time. He made plays off the bounce, and he's good. What year is he? I don't know if you're – yeah, no, he played like an upperclassman, and he gave him a great lift, and we couldn't handle him early, a little better in the second half, but again, he got him off the right way for sure.
Coach, as an aside, Justin McCoy hadn't played the last couple games after that strong performance in Carolina. Is he banged up? What's his status?
He was a little sick today, but that was more of a coach's decision for him not to play. And as I said, with the guys with Braxton coming back, but I told Justin specifically, and those guys, don't get discouraged being young. Just keep working. You just don't know, because he does bring aggressiveness, and he did do a good job against Carolina. Good. Yes, you too.